For those of you who just stumbled on this video, this is a response to Tom Bilyeu on his show Impact Theory. He does a show prep live recording for a lot of his members, and I happened to super chat in, and he was kind enough to respond. I was expressing some views as far as solutions to the challenges that we face into transitioning to an economy with AI and automation. And he didn't like it so much. It didn't strike his fancy. And so this is a response video, hoping to readdress the idea and see what he thinks. For a future beyond today's narratives, welcome to the Echo Chamber. So Tom, first of all, thank you for responding to my super chat last week. I hope you don't mind me taking another swing at trying to promote my idea and get your thoughts on it. First, let me set the stage by expressing some of my concerns with transitioning into an economy with AI and automation. As things stand, we have a hard enough time as human beings working out an economic system that is compatible with both the best and the worst of human nature. And capitalism so far has been the most effective system when it's managed correctly. So I understand that it's difficult to perceive a world where you have the level of production that AI represents, and trying to apply true or pure capitalist principles to that system. And I agree, I don't see how that works. However, between your idea of a post-capitalist system and a post-capitalist world and the capitalism that we rely on today, I believe we need a transition tool, and that's where my idea fits in. To recap, each working age citizen would have a number of licenses attached to them that would be associated with their education, with their skill sets, and just a certain number of licenses based on just pure labor output that the economy needs. And so you would have different companies that would compete for these licenses. If you had an archaeologist who had skills in archaeology, and you had any kind of automation or AI use in the field of archaeology, you would need to find someone with those skills and compete for leasing that license to be able to have a certain amount of production using any kind of AI or automation. Companies would have to uphold certain standards as far as the morality of how they do business, as far as people being behind the product that they're trying to produce, and them being able to afford buying those licenses. So it creates this competitive system, this capitalist system that we're used to. It also encourages people to gain those skills, to continue seeking after education and marketable skills. It also helps if there's any kind of issue where we have issues with AI and all of a sudden they can't do the work that we need them to, that we still have those skill sets in the population. I know one of the major concerns that you expressed was any idea of limiting the productive output of AI seems counterintuitive to how you see us moving forward. And my counter proposal is that my idea is infinitely scalable. The more the more output we want, the more licenses we create, and we can even create it for certain windows as far as people of certain ages. Say people 35 and older have an extra license that they can now lease. And then as we need more production, we can lower that age, or we can just say every citizen has an extra license that they can now lease to companies for their use of AI or automation. I really do like the idea of tying that production to the population, because then we have a source of income for the people who would otherwise be losing jobs. And it's not going to be, at least I don't see it being an instantaneous, everyone now has their job replaced by AI and automation. And so as you have specific fields where AI and automation are performing well and taking over the industry, those individuals can be brought into this system where they're leasing their skills to the company, thereby keeping their income. Looking at the long term of what a AI superintelligence might look like for humanity, you had talked about infinite energy, and that would mean infinite productivity, potentially infinite longevity for human beings, and infinite pleasure, where, if you've got a neurochip, you can just pump that dopamine. You can give yourself whatever degree of pleasure for whatever reason you want. And I don't see that being a healthy scenario for humanity. We need a reason to be productive. We need a reason to pursue purpose. We need a reason to pursue productivity ourselves. And I realize that some people are going to be able to adapt to those principles within an AI world. But I think the vast, overwhelming majority of the human population just isn't going to be in a place where they have the skills and the foundation to be able to overcome those human drives and aspire to something better. And so this system that I'm proposing would incentivize that self-improvement, because the more skills, the more marketable skills that the market actually needs, that they can obtain themselves, the more licenses that they hold, meaning the more profit that they have a potential to make in bidding those licenses out to companies. If you look at the culture we have now, we have really addictive food, we have addictive entertainment, we have pornography, we have all of these things that feed our wants and needs and desires. And if you take away people's productivity, you take away their purpose, we're just going to pleasure ourselves into oblivion. We're already facing a population crisis where we're not maintaining our population. And if we introduce this level of productivity and no mechanism for people to continue to have drive and purpose in pursuing careers, pursuing self-improvement, we're going to have a self-culling of humanity that could wipe us out just by itself. And so I'm not necessarily convinced that this is going to be the answer, that this is the tool. But I like it. I like sharing this idea because I think it is the right way to think about how we can bring all of these AI and automation tools into the market while still maintaining our capitalist system. And then as time goes on, we can adapt to both culturally and economically to have that post-capitalist system that you talked about. We're looking at transitioning into a world that is very scary, very unknown. And I think people are going to need hope in something that they recognize and they can really put their trust in. And so having a system that represents or is similar to what we have now, I think will do a lot just psychologically to give people a better foundation to work from in trying to understand what a future looks like post-capitalist and looks like with infinite energy and infinite productivity. And regardless of what you think of my idea, I appreciate the opportunity to share it again. And I hope that even if this isn't the solution, that maybe as a community we can come up with some better ideas as to how we can help humanity as a whole weather the storm that we're setting ourselves up for. And I hope you don't mind me taking a minute to promote my own podcast. Very much a novice, but I produced my first episode of a show called The Echo Chamber. If you want to find my show, it's the search for The Echo Chamber Episode 1, Forms of Government. And Preston, myself, and my friend Chris talk about different forms of government and what kind of government the United States has. The long-term goal of the show is to look at social and political issues from a variety of different perspectives and try to break people out of their echo chambers, as well as discussing AI and a lot of the challenges that we are facing as humanity, and trying to look for solutions and ways forward that's compatible with human nature. If you do check out the show, I apologize. It is very novice. We're just getting started. I have a lot of personal growth and to go through, and to improve my production value, to improve my ability to communicate and interview. But I hope you'll stick with me and enjoy the journey.